this is Jo from Math Tutor Me. Today we're doing coordinate geometry and we're looking at non-linear graphs. More specifically, we're looking at the parabola today. So all the graphs that we have looked at so far are what we call linear graphs, which means they're straight lines. But if we get an equation that is in the form y equals x squared, we get a curved graph known as a parabola. So anything with an x squared, keep an eye out for that, is going to be called a parabola. So let's have a look at these examples. Complete the tables below and plot the curves on the graph. So just like we were doing with the straight lines, we're going to substitute these values into this equation here. So our first one is y is equal to x squared. This is the most basic type of parabola. So if x is minus 2, we want minus 2 squared. Now squared just means times by itself, so minus 2 times minus 2 makes a positive 4. Now again, if you're not comfortable doing these calculations in your head, just get your calculator out and you would type in, you'd need brackets for minus numbers, minus 2 squared. If you don't include the brackets, then it won't square the minus. So you get a positive 4. Okay, now let's look at the next number. Minus 1. If I put minus 1 into here, minus 1 squared, minus 1 times minus 1, that means will give me a positive 1. Minus and a minus makes a plus when you're multiplying. If I put 0 into there, 0 squared is still 0. Put 1 in, 1 squared or 1 times 1 is 1. And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, while we're completing tables, let's do the next one. Y is equal to 3x squared. So, first of all, substitute the minus 2 in for the x. So that's minus 2 times minus 2 is a 4, positive 4. And we have to times that by the 3 to get 12. Now let's substitute in the negative 1. Negative 1 squared becomes a positive 1. Times by 3 is 3. 0 into here. 0 times 0, or 0 squared, is 0. Times 3 is still 0. And 1 squared is 1, times 3 is 3. And 2 squared is 4, times 3 is 12. So you might have noticed there's a little bit of symmetry happening with our y values here. Okay, let's see what happens for our last equation over here. Y equals half x squared. Now I've chosen some different x values for this one. I'm going to start with negative 4. Negative 4 squared, negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16, and I have to times that by a half, or half of 16 is 8. Negative 2 squared becomes a positive 4. Half of 4 is 2. 0 squared is 0 and half of 0 is still 0. And you might guess what's going to happen on this other side here. 2 squared is 4, half of 4 is 2. And 4 squared is 16, half of 16 is 8. Alright, let's plot these points for each table onto the graph. Now I've drawn this graph ahead of time and I deliberately left off most of the bottom part of the graph here because as you can see there is no negative y values. So for these parabolas that we're going to draw, they're all going to be up the top here today. So let's plot. When x is minus 2, y is 4. So x is minus 2, y is 4. Minus 1, 1, minus 1, positive 1, 0, 0. X is 1, y is 1. X is 2, y is 4. Now we can't use a ruler to join these up because it's a curve. So very carefully try to join the dots, making sure it's curving around the bottom there, like that. And that is the basic parabola, y is equal to x squared. Let's look at our next one. Y equals 3x squared. When x is negative 2, y is 12, way up here. Negative 1, 3, 0, 0. 1, 3, and 2, 12. So it has the same shape, but it is much steeper. Okay, so from the x squared graph, we've become 3x squared, and the graph has become steeper or narrower. So the larger the number in front of the x squared, the steeper or narrower the graph is going to become. So what do we think is going to happen now with our half x squared? Well, if we go to -4, we have 8. -2 is 2. 0 is 0. 2, 2, 4, 8. So it comes down through the origin. They all go through the origin to there. And that is y equals half x squared. So, the bigger the number in front of the x squared, the steeper the graph is going to be. If the number is a fraction, meaning less than 1, the graph will be wider than the y is equal to x squared graph. Okay, so on this next page, I have some questions for you to try. So complete these tables and plot the curves on this graph here. Pause the video, give those a go, and let's go through the answers. Okay, y is equal to 2x squared. If x is equal to -2, -2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8. -1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. 0 squared is 0 times 2 is still 0. 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, now next equation, y is equal to 1/3 x squared. We want to start with -6. -6 squared is 36, and 1/3 of 36, or 36 divided by 3 that means, is 12. Let's try it again for -3. -3 squared is 9, and 1/3 of 9 is 3. 0 squared is 0, 1/3 of 0 is still 0. 3 squared is 9, times 1/3 is 3, and 6 squared is 36, times by 1/3 is 12. Okay, let's plot each of those graphs. -2, 8, -2, 8, -1, 2, 0, 0, 1, 2, and 2, 8. Okay, there's our first parabola, our first curve. Oh, a bit wobbly there. So that's y equals 1/3 x squared. Oh, sorry, that's y equals 2x squared. Okay, now for the 1/3 x squared, -6 goes up to 12. -3 is 3. 0, 0. 3 goes to 3. And 6 goes to 12. Join them up. And that's it. That one is y equals 1/3 x squared. So hopefully that is what you got when you tried those questions. That's it for this lesson today. I'll see you next time.